Hi, my name is Bernard Pucher, and welcome back to CenterFrame interview, where we're talking to fantastic filmmakers from all around the world. And joining me today is a Portuguese writer and director, Gonçalo Almeida, whose short film Thursday Night was part of the official selection at Sundance in 2018, and is like me a fellow London Film School alumni. So, Gonçalo, thank you very, very much for joining me here in my interview session today. So I really appreciate that. So how are you? How are you doing? What's new in your life?
Well, yeah, thank you for the invite. Well, everything is fine. I'm here in Lisbon, and it's a sunny day. I am working on a new project, which I've been. It's a half documentary, half animation feature film, which
All
would be
right,
my
wow.
feature film. Yeah, so I'm doing that now. This is my office.
You also were at Fright Fest. I noticed with Keep Me Company? No.
Well, a Fantastic Fest or Fright Fest?
Fantastic Fest. Sorry, I misread that.
Yeah, so I was in Fantastic Fest, which is a great festival, genre film festival in Texas, in Austin, Texas, and I was there 3 times.
All
With
right.
the night, yeah, which we got the award for best director. Then with Keep Me Company, we had the American premiere there, and then with the girl from Saturn, my latest film, which we got the best director award of the section as well. So 3 times, yeah.
No, that's really awesome because I noticed that you made a lot of short films. Like, I mean, I counted 11 on your bio, which is substantial. I mean, that's I have to say, like, I mean, I've done a few, but I don't think I've gotten up to 11. So, what was the drive behind making so many short films? Was it commissioned as well, or did you just find yourself interested? What was the thing behind that?
After finishing the school, I lived in London for 3 more years, and started to. Well, I had a crew there, and some of my friends wanted to do films, like directors of photography, and a couple of those guys, they were winning awards like bursaries of equipment. So
Right.
we have to use this, and whenever they wanted to make something, they come to me because they know I'm all. I was always eager to just take these opportunities and always had ideas in mind, and so a lot of films happen this way. Thursday Night was the last one I shot in this kind of thing, this kind of scheme, and I just tried to take advantage of the fact that I was surrounded by people who wanted to make films regardless of how much money we had or not. So yeah, I just kept going till I moved to Portugal, and now I'm still kind of doing the same thing, but life has changed for most of us,
Of
so
course.
it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you seem to have a very sort of strong direction into horror. Is that because horror is like your driving passion, or is it just like a core interest and you love all the other things too?
I naturally, I mean, I felt drawn to fantastic cinema of the imagination, and I guess studying at the London Film School, I denied this for a bit because what they sell there is
I
social.
know the feeling.
So while I was there, I was I didn't know exactly. I was watching a lot of art films, and I thought maybe what I like is wrong. I like Freddy Krueger and this film. Maybe this is not good. But now, more and more as the years go by, I'm reconnecting to my teenage self, and this is really what I want to do. So my next film will be a sci-fi, full-on supernatural horror movie based in the south of Portugal. And going back to your question, I mean, it's my work. It's where I feel comfortable. It's the movies that I watch. To be honest, I only watch horror films. It's not that I beat a lot of hard house. I know Antonioni. I know all these guys. So I'm not denying their existence. I just prefer to watch Wes Craven movies.
No, I completely agree. I think, and certainly, and my another London Film School graduate who I've worked with quite a bit, Luke Foster, is a massive horror fan. He absolutely loves horror, and for him, it was always so frustrating to have this conversation where, well, horror is just schlocky. It's just not a serious genre, and like I think certainly in the recent years when you have films like Get Out and Hereditary, and and you have all the Scott Derrickson films, horror is a serious genre. Like they have serious things to say and they're scary. It's like there's no reason why they should be.
The thing is, now that you pointed out those movies, some I find this phenomenon interesting. A lot of, not a lot, but a couple of people have come to me and said, "Oh, I'm making a horror film," and I was like, "Wow, great! What is it about?" Well, it's not really a horror film. It's behind there is this important message, and I think to myself, why are you afraid of saying, "Oh, because it's like The Witch or it's like Get Out"? So are the other films bad? Because
No,
now,
they're not. That's exactly so. But it's the horror genre itself.
yeah, I mean, just is it scary? That's the main thing. So why don't call it a horror film? I don't know. Anyway,
Completely true. I actually want to talk to you about your first feature, Keep Me Company. It seems like the kind of project that you had a chance to do it, so you just went for it. Like you had the camera, you had the location. Let's go for it. And I want to talk to you about how you came about making the film and what sort of the drive was behind getting Keep Me Company off the ground.
right. So what happened is, I was, before I moved to Portugal. This was like late 2016. I was working on a project with one of these DPs that I work with, Alex Grigoraj, and I said, look, let's try and make a feature with 3,000 euros in London on the weekends, and we just ask the actors and whenever they're available, and we just go the two of us, and so we started that, but it got crazy because I mean no one was ever available. So after 5 months, I shot inserts of and shots of people entering a building and living, and there is no. So I said to him, look, I'm gonna move to Portugal because I was at that time I was considering that, and maybe if we take this money and make a film in Portugal because everything is cheaper, maybe we can do it better. Maybe this will work because it's not working here. So, and he said, okay, great idea. So I came back. I had this idea for some time, but I just tried to, okay, make it work in this place with the amount of equipment that we have. And after 6 months, maybe less, we were here to shoot, you know. And yeah, it was like that. We just went with what we have, with what we had at that time. It was a great time, and it needed to happen exactly in that time. And this is why, because none of us have done at that point a feature film. So everybody was very excited and wanted to take part on it. So we got people from the school and from Russia, from Italy, from all over the world. They just came and helped, and we paid what we could with the traveling and a place to stay, and they just everybody was so happy just to be part of it. And nowadays this couldn't happen. If you need, everybody's working or have a family, as a family, So in that time, I'm glad it happened like that.
What was your trajectory after you finished shooting? Like, how long did it take you to finish the film and actually get it somewhere?
So basically, this is, I mean, that's the challenge, one of the challenges of working in that model. I mean, we finished the film, and now we have a film, or and okay, now because we have to again ask for favors. My editor was busy doing other things, so I have to fit in his schedule, which is always so polite to allow me to do that. So I waited for him, and actually, for the first time, I don't cut my own movies. I don't enjoy doing it, but for the first time, I made a cut of the film, so that when we meet, I already have something, so we don't waste time. He's not gonna go look at everything. He's only gonna look at everything if what we with what I have doesn't work. So we try to make it very efficient. So I done that. I done the music myself with another friend, with a composer. I would say that the film took about like a year in post production, but only because it's like that. You have to wait for people. You don't have money to buy time.
Yeah.
So you have to fit on people's schedules. So I did music, did a bit of sound design, then sound designer came on board, and then yeah, there was dubbing, mixing, all these things, special effects, not crazy, but correcting things, erasing something you shouldn't see, like booms and stuff like that. And that was it. And then we were pro- we have a proposal out. I don't know if this is the right word, but to premiere on Motel X, which is a Portuguese horror film festival, which is
Nice.
really really big in the horror scene nowadays. And we did that at the same time as we did Fantastic Fest in 2019. And then the film actually had a theatrical release in Portugal, which was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
it's
really
also
awesome.
easy for a first feature, and especially like indie, independent film and horror film, all these things. So it made it, I guess, it run its course. I mean, made what it was meant to do. Yeah.
No, that's really great. I think where would you rate the importance of film festivals as part of your career? Like, what do you think showing at a film festival is worth? At least in your experience, what have film festivals done for you?
I have a. I'll be honest about this. I have mixed feelings about this whole film festival industry. I'll tell you a kind of an anecdote. So
Okay.
when I shot Thursday night, most of the people that saw it, they think it was ridiculous because it's a ghost story with two dogs, and my friends say, "I don't understand it. It's too dark. It's just, I don't know." And then this when this film got selected for Sundance, everybody wants to see it again. Wow! But now I understand it. And I thought to myself, but what changed? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I mean to say is, if you are starting out, you need some kind of seal of approval. And this is a sad thing. I really dislike this. You need this thing, otherwise people just don't look at you. And I'll tell you, my latest short film is The Girl from Saturn. Is for me a way better film than Thursday Night. But because I didn't get into an A festival, the film has gone. It didn't go as far as Thursday Night.
Right.
But it doesn't. I made a decision because before I got accepted in festivals, I already had made like 3 or 4 short films, and all of them were rejected everywhere. So I said, okay, regardless of what happens, I'm gonna keep making movies because I love doing this, and I just don't care about these things anymore. So that's when things started to happen, and I was like, well, I'm happy with this. This is just a collateral thing that it's happening. It's just because the work is people like it. So just focus on the work. I don't care. So it doesn't hurt me that much. I think it's when it happens, I'm happy. Thanks, but I don't make a living out of going to festivals. I'm not that of a social guy that I like to spend the whole year traveling. I actually prefer to be working. And yeah, I mean, everyone likes awards. Everyone likes the recognition. It's if I would tell you that I don't like it, I'll be lying.
Of course.
But I want to keep working. And unfortunately, we need those things to keep working because otherwise, you don't get public funding. You don't get, nobody looks at you. As you said, after I did Thursday Night, I did 3 more films, and people only talk about that one because that's the one who went to Sundance. It doesn't bother me. I'm happy that at least I have one that people talk about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so you don't even edit your own films? You don't like editing your own films?
I don't enjoy the editing process.
Well, so is directing your favorite part of it?
Not really as well. I
What's
like
your favorite part?
it changes a bit, but okay. So my favorite part is like how I am now with a future project that I'm writing. So I like developing the ideas on my own first, and like I would spend a year for a feature project just writing notes without starting a draft on the computer. I like that a lot. Taking pictures, I work. I cut things. I paste the pictures on my notebooks like this.
Oh, nice.
I'll show it to you. So I do this. I visit the places, and then I
That's
This
awesome.
is like this is what I like.
So is this one per project, or do you write everything into different books?
One more project, but because this project is taking so long, got four now. But they are all full, which is great. So so, so this
That's
is great. I've been taking more time because I really want to nail this one. It's a sci-fi film based on my own town, and I've been trying to reconnect to the people that I met, and anyway. So I like this part a lot, and I like writing the first draft. I don't enjoy rewriting that much. I like when I start talking to the other people in the movie. I like that. Shooting, it depends how. Like, I loved the last film I did. It was a great time shooting because I don't know, it just happened
the
like that.
the
But
the crew was great.
Crew and the other one was great. In the feature was in Keep Me Company was great as well. But I never done anything like that, so I felt I was completely out of my league because we tried to do so many things. It was a 12-day shoot. I mean, every day you would leave scenes for the next day, and I couldn't sleep. And then I just got anxious. I was afraid I was never gonna finish it. So that got in the way of having fun and got in the way of getting good. I'm not saying good ideas, but of uh, being in the mood to get great ideas that just happen on the spot. I was just stressed out that I need to finish, so I didn't enjoy the process.
Right. But I mean, how do you feel now by comparison? Like, would you say, how much would you have learned from this first film experience, like
Oh,
from the
it
first
was
feature?
it was school all over again. It was like it was a great experience in that sense. It was like school all over.
I mean,
You
there's
meet
nothing like it, right? I mean, there's nothing like shooting a feature film.
There's nothing like going, and especially, I mean, we did it like, okay, we are friends, but and there's small amount of money, but it's a proper scheduled production. I mean, this there's two of the main Portuguese actresses who are only work. We only make it work like, the proper hours. We don't exploit people. So there's a lot of things. It's not just friends hanging out and, oh, let's do this, and no, we only do three takes maximum because we don't have time. We have to storyboard everything like excessively every day, re-storyboarding till 5 a.m. Me and the DP, then waking up at 8. So I mean, it's not a holiday. So
Right.
you really have to think. You need to have ideas on the spot, and so it's just solving problems. Solving problems. We don't have money. It's like we just have to find things and work with them. It's you get what you have and make it work. It's like MacGyver making things. You don't have control of time. Oh, let's plan this because the sun is there. Well, it's not anymore. What can you do? You can't leave this for tomorrow.
Tell me about your second feature. Everything seems perfect. Because what was it like getting that off the ground compared to the first one? And if you can compare them, how would you compare the two films?
It has nothing to do. I mean, I'll try to find a way because look, this film is a documentary. I mean, I would say what happens is it's very interview based, and the rest is animation completely. So you hear mostly voices, and these crazy stories are happening like a psychedelic world. So basically, getting it off the ground was easier in a way that you need these people who are 9 people being interviewed, and you need a camera and a studio and sound, and this first part is done. And I was very eager to get this first part done because I don't like to depend on people. I like, okay, now I got it. Now I can start imagining what's going to be the rest, which I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So I think the hardest part is yet to come. What happened now is like, okay, we got these interviews, we got some money to do that, and now we need money to do the rest. So we are trying to get money from a lot of different places while I proceed with the cutting of the film. And sometimes I meet my editor in London and we do a bit, and then I come back, start drawing. I'm basically doing everything still on my own. I music already, just the temp music because before I would score tend to score films with other people's music, and now I prefer to do my own because then you get too attached to other people's music. Anyway,
Do you still go to a composer afterwards, or do you just write the entire music yourself?
so I've done both. I Before Thursday night, I always worked with a composer. What happens is he got busy, and I had very low budgets on my films, and I couldn't afford. So, but I needed music, so I started recording my own music. It was very simple ambient music, that's the music that I do. And then I moved on to I did two more films like this, three now with this one. But I had for Keep Me Company and The Girl from Saturn, I collaborated with another composer. For Keep Me Company, actually, what happened is the process was on Keep Me Company. I didn't score anything. I just sent to this composer, and he did the whole. He did like a 3 hour kind of mashup.
Right.
It's not called mashup, but I forgot. Mock-up. Yeah.
Mock
Okay.
up, yeah.
And then, and um and then I liked some stuff, most of the stuff, and that stuff stayed. We just changed the arrangement of which instruments are we gonna use, and I did three cues on my own. So we never actually did anything together. He did his cues and I did three on my own. And the next project we actually did everything together, like on the same room, in the same room. So I really enjoyed that more.
What is it like getting, because with the amount of preparation that you do, I think there's a two part here for me. On the one hand, you do a lot of preparation. So how much do you need this prep to be in the filming? And what I mean is how strict do you get with your preparation to what it looks like in the end, or do you remain flexible? That's the one part, and the other part is how do you get feedback for this kind of work that you're doing, especially when you're all on your own? Where do you go for your feedback?
So to answer the first question is I'm not a control I'm
Control
not
freak.
yeah, I'm not a control freak, but I am a preparation freak, I would say. Here's what I wh- on what is on my, how can I say, everything I see, everything I think about before I try to write down. I make storyboards, a lot of them. I need to have a clear idea of things for myself. Before I approach someone, I need to be clear about what I want. I need to have gone as far as I could in my brain, you know. Oh, if I have this idea, I'm gonna go there and then okay, I've gone enough, you know, inside my what I can. So I write a lot of all the ideas, all the possibilities, even production themes that might arise, and especially the storyboard. Like I get in the script I put where the lights are, but that's just for me. This is something I like because I don't want to do anyone else's job. I just need to have a solution in case there's none. So I go prepared and then I listen to other people. The second question is feedback. So that's very dangerous, actually. Dangerous, I mean, one has to be careful with that. There is specific stages of a project where feedback is good, where feedback, otherwise, sometimes feedback is not good, you know? And I'll tell you, for me, when it doesn't work. Like at this stage in the notebooks, feedback is not good. It's a private thing, you know? Feedback is good when you have a draft. And then, okay, now let me know. And at that stage, I have been more defensive in the past, and now I just like it all the way. Just man, just if. But that's the other part of it. You have to choose who is going to to talk to you, and I always choose like the same people. I know that they give me feedback that is productive. They want to help you, and they know how it is for them to be in this position as well, and they know what you need. So that's the type of people that I search for to give me feedback.
No, that makes sense. I think the certainly if you have to ask if you have to ask the person to read too much between the lines for them to
Mhm.
understand what you're thinking, the feedback's going to be bad.
If you need, like, I think it's nice if you, okay, say you need a direction or something, and you need to know where you're going, and you're not sure, and you present this idea, and like five people say, it's probably the right, you know. So that's the type. This is very useful as well. If you picture synopsis or something, and people said, "Oh, why is this woman like this?" Everybody's asking the same question. You probably need to answer that. And that's another thing is like I tell this to like students that I teach or whoever I talk to. I find this you have to answer questions as soon as they arrive early in the process, because if you hide them under the table, they are gonna become stronger in the end. They're gonna be in the movie, and then there's nothing you can do. So if you know them, this I feel guilty about. In the past I was like, man, I knew this was wrong, but now there's nothing you can do. But I could have done. But you learn, these things. So I call it the rats. It's this script is full of rats. I have to find them before. And if everyone is saying like, why is this happening now? You don't go, oh, I know, I have my vision. Man, no, it's you're not gonna like this in the end.
You're gonna look back at it and realize you fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. It's not your vision anymore because the film people it didn't talk the way you wanted to.
Other than finishing up, because you're finishing up, everything seems perfect now, right? What's in store for you next? What's coming up?
So basically, I'm pitching for. Well, it's late development. This project that you see in the notebook. So that's the sci-fi horror movie that I want to do in Portugal. Which
Was it
I mean,
Lonely Dark Roads? That one?
yeah. I hope to shoot it next year while I still finish this one. Let's see. I'm also, in developing of other things, but this is the main focus now. Are these two, and yeah, that's what's happened.
My last question: what is your bread and butter work like? Because obviously, this stuff often, while you develop, you don't actually have money to sit down and develop. So you usually do that.
Right.
Uh,
What do I do to get money? You mean?
yeah. So now, what do you do to live off of? Like, what's
Okay.
your?
So I get funding for projects sometimes, and I also work for the television. I do TV content for a production company here in Portugal. I teach more and more. I do, yeah, and the rest I make with the movies I make. You don't get a lot, but you still get a little. And so that's yeah, I like that's the thing. I got into teaching accidentally, and I really like it as much as making movies. So I take that very seriously, and I'm trying to. Some people just they teach because they can't make movies.
Yeah, and I've met a few of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually found that I really like it, and I think it's really good if you're also making movies, because then you're not just putting your frustration of not making movies in your students. I like people who are enthusiastic. I'm crazy about this, so I like to share these worlds, these ideas, and especially because when you work with younger people, they are more like me in their mindsets, and people my age around here, they are becoming a bit frustrated because, oh, I should have got funding for this and now I can't, and it's no. So I like to keep my mind fresh and to work with people who dream as I do, and because that's the good part of it. Otherwise, why are you doing this?
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Actually, I have one more thing to ask you. You have a graphic design background. Uh, I did the same thing. I came from graphic and web design in the late 90s. So I got into the whole HTML coding thing, blah, 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 in sort of the late 90s and stuff. What's your graphic design background like? Like, what did you study and how did that evolve into film?
So basically, I come from a small town in the south of Portugal, and I guess I always loved to draw. Since I was a kid, I was spending most of my time on my own, most of the time on my own drawing, and I knew it. Very early. My parents knew that I would want to do something related to that or to the arts. I love music. I was full on to the arts. I was bad at everything else. So when in high school, I started making movies. more seriously. I had a studio in school and started editing with the VHS tapes, two PRs and all these things. And we started writing movies, trying to understand how these things work. But now I had to choose a job, a course to go to college and cinema, because I never met anyone that was a director and that this was a job. This wasn't taken seriously. So I had to go to a course that has a job, that has the chances of working. So I went to study graphic design because I didn't really know what it was at that time. And I like print design a lot, and I fell in love with this. Of course, I had to do a lot of Flash programming and a lot of websites, all these things. But yeah, and when I left college, while I was in college, I started making movies seriously, like making short films, and I thought about quitting school, but my mom said, "Man, it's not very hard for you, so just finish this. At least you have something. Because if you keep changing your mind, then you know." So I finished that, and then I worked as a graphic designer for years, something like that, and for companies and freelance. And while I was doing that, I was always doing music and movies, and this was becoming bigger until I was out of a job, and my brother said, maybe you should give this cinema thing a chance, like studying it for real. And he proposed for me to go to the London Film School, and the deadline was like 4 days, and I never seen anything like this. So I just went online and did the story, this everything. So that and so that's how it happened for me. Nowadays, I mean, because again budget, and I hope it's not going to be like that forever. But I also do everything that is all the graphics, all the advertisement, everything on my projects, the posters, everything. I would like to collaborate as well in this part, and I hope that in the future I can, because I know my limits on this as well. But when it comes to saving money, sometimes I have to do it. Most of the time, though.
I can't I totally agree with you. I mean, I can't deny just how much money and time I saved making my own artwork, making my own title sequences, making my own these things, just because graphics design was such a big part of my sort of early, before same thing, like I got into film at graphics design school, and the lessons learned at graphics school were invaluable as I use them today. They're constantly part of it.
Yeah, they're faces of the same thing. It's like yeah, you learn about color and shapes and everything, and
Composition, all that stuff.
composition. So it's not a setback.
Completely, yeah. Well, Gonçalo, thank you very, very much for joining me this morning. I really, really appreciate it. It was a great tale. I love. It was great listening to, because I felt such a strong parallel between all of my experience. So this was really great. I really look forward to seeing what Everything Seems Perfect is going to be. It sounds like a very, very compelling documentary. So I'd love to see it. Even if you want feedback for an early cut, please send it to me. I'd love to. But I wish you the best of luck with that project and to get it off the ground quickly. And thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for tuning in. I've got a few more interviews coming up very soon. My next one is with A.M. Lucas. She's a writer and director in the northern US. And thank you very much for joining this interview. Make sure you join our social media and visit CenterFrame.com to sign up to our newsletter and to get the latest updates on our competitions and on the launch of the platform in full. So thank you. Come and join us again for the next interview. I'll see you.